Hey guys, it's Julia and welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I'm going to be doing my May 2017 reading wrap-up, talking about all the books that I've read in the month of May. You notice I am wearing the same shirt as last month's wrap-up, but moving on from that, I had a pretty decent reading month. There's a lot of other things happening in May, so I have a lot of favorites from this month, so if you're interested in those, you can check out my May favorites video where I talk about all that jazz, but let's jump right into the books. First up, here I read A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, which if you do not know is the second book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series, and I'm not going to talk about these too much because I did a full-length 20-minute review on this book and I loved it. I loved A Court of Thorns and Roses when I read it when it came out, and then I was just kind of like stalling reading this because of all the hype, and I was kind of like, you know, skeptical because of the hype. And since the new one was coming out, I thought I'll just give this a read, and I freaking loved this with all my heart. Yeah, it was phenomenal. At the beginning kind of was slow, but once you got into it, it was really good, and I tabbed it, and it was just such a great book. I would highly recommend continuing with the series if you haven't. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and if you want to hear more of my thoughts, you could check out my full-length review. Next up here, I have A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is the next book I read. This book looks so tiny, but it's 700 pages, and this book blew my mind. It succeeded all my expectations. Ira and Rhysand and all the other characters, I love the inner circle, so it's just such a great book, and I had this, like, just so many things were happening, there were so many twists, there were so many good things happening. I loved it a lot. I've been hearing that some people were disappointed with this book, but I thought it was even better than Akamath in my opinion, so I would highly recommend this book as well. I did another 25-minute I think review on this book, so if you're interested in checking that out, then I will link it up on the screen for you guys and down below. But I give this book a solid 5 out of 5 stars. I do not give books 5 out of 5 stars, like, ever. Like, I've only given like 2 books 5 stars in my life, so this is quite an award because it made me feel everything. It reminded me of why I love reading so much. It was just one of those emotionally draining books, and I haven't felt that way about a book in a little while, so it was just really nice, and it just reminded me why I read so much and why I love to read, so that was just super important for me. And I did go to a book signing, which I do talk about more in my previous video, but I got it signed and I met her and she's so sweet. But yes, so I gave this 5 stars. Talking about another recent release, I have Always and Forever Laura Jean by Jeanne, which this is the 3rd book in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy, which this series is about. This is about a girl named Laura Jean who writes letters to the boys that she likes, and then one day they all get sent out, and it's kind of like what happens after that. But basically it's about Laura Jean and her family and boys involved and all these things that are happening. I loved book 1 and 2 so much, and I was so excited that there was going to be a book 3. And I don't know if because I was in a slump from ACOWAR, or I just nitpicked this book to the max. Like, there was, like, I was reading it with like no expression. Like the other books I was like, aw, cute, and this one I was like, yeah, I like Peter, that's about it. And there was some things I liked about it, but there was a lot of things I didn't like about it. There was a lot of like stupid things. I felt like Laura Jean was so immature in this book, and the other books, like, I could tell that she was a little bit, but she does not act 18. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion, but I just had some problems with this book. And again, it could be because I finished ACOWAR and I was like on a high from ACOWAR, so I was like, oh my god. But I was a little bit disappointed in this book, unfortunately, so I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. Next up here, I read The Chalice of Sarajevo by Stephen Galloway. This is a book I read for school. It's a historical fiction novel. It's about a war in Sarajevo, and we follow 4 perspectives and all the things that are happening. So if you're into historical fiction, you might want to check this one out. But this, I didn't like. I've liked every book I've read for school up to this point. I just love usually what we do in school, but this was the first read I did not enjoy in school. And at first I was liking it, but I just didn't care. Like, it was one of those books I was like I'm very bored, which doesn't happen to me. And I know it's like, reading's not boring. Yeah, I know, but like this book was kind of boring, so I didn't like it. There's tabs in it and all this stuff in it because, like, for school we had to do stuff with it, so yeah, but I didn't like this. I gave it 2 stars. On a better note in terms of ratings, I read Inferno by Dante, and this book is basically a play that deals with hell, and it's about this man named Dante who goes into hell, and there's like a bunch of circles in hell, and the more you go down, like, each circle is for a different kind of sinner, and as you go down it gets worse, and then like Satan's at the bottom. And it was just so interesting. I didn't realize how old it was, that it was before Shakespeare's time, but we talked about it so much in English because we're reading Othello right now, so my teacher would make a lot of references to Dante's Inferno, so I'm like, I need to read that now, and I actually really liked it. I thought it was really interesting. It was different. It was definitely it was very poetic, it was gruesome, it was horrifying in ways, but I thought it was great, and I didn't realize, but this was first published in 1317. Like, the fact that someone could write something like this amazing back then is just, whoa, incredible to me. So I really enjoyed this. I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Definitely pick it up if you are interested in it. Lastly here, I have Neon Soul by Alexandra L. This is a poetry collection and also has like tips for writing poetry in the back as well, but this was really interesting. Like a quote from it is, "Lava hisses from my soul like ash and neon." So it's like a modern poetry collection. It was really interesting. It's not my favorite. I think I gave it 3.25 stars, somewhere around there. Definitely if you read a lot of poetry and you're interested in reading more modern poetry, give this one a read. I think it's worth the read, but it's not like my first recommendation. But yeah, it was okay. There were some poems I liked. There was some that I was like just okay with. Like, I didn't think any of it was bad. It was just like mediocre. So yeah, but this one's pretty like highly acclaimed. Like the reviews are pretty good, so if you're interested in it, check it out. So there you guys have it. Those are the books that I read in the month of May. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, and I will see you all very soon with a new video. Bye.